You've been fighting quiet battles, trying to hold it together, while fear whispers worst-case endings. But listen, this isn't random. This is God stepping into your moment, saying, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Those words weren't written centuries ago for someone else. They were meant for you, right now, right here. You see, fear has a way of making you forget who you are. It paints the unknown in shades of panic, convincing you that what's coming is too big, too uncertain, too heavy to survive. It makes your heartbeat quicken at the thought of tomorrow, makes your breath shallow when you imagine what could go wrong. But even now, in the middle of that noise, there's a quieter voice, steady, calm, sure, that says, "You are safe with me." That voice doesn't shout. It whispers peace into the chaos. It doesn't promise an easy road, but it does promise a steady hand guiding you through it. You've been waking up with that weight on your chest, haven't you? The feeling that something could go wrong, even when nothing has. That quiet dread that lingers in the background, making you question if you're strong enough, brave enough, faithful enough to face what's ahead. But God didn't bring you this far to abandon you in your fear. He's been walking beside you, even when your steps tremble. Fear tries to convince you that you're alone, that you're one mistake away from falling apart, but the truth is you are surrounded by grace. You are held by hands that have never failed. And even when your knees buckle under the pressure, those same hands lift you, again and again. Fear feeds on imagination. It thrives in the space between what's known and what's uncertain. It tells you stories about failure before you even take the first step. It whispers that you'll lose before you begin. But faith tells a different story. Faith looks at the same storm and says, "Even if I can't see the sun right now, I know it's still shining above the clouds." Faith doesn't ignore fear. It just doesn't bow to it. It faces it head on, with trembling hands maybe, but with a steady heart that says, "I'm not walking alone." And that's what you need to remember. You've never been alone in this. Maybe fear has followed you for years. Maybe it has disguised itself as caution, as logic, as self-protection. But you know deep down it's been holding you hostage. Fear has kept you from applying for that job, from trusting again, from speaking your truth, from taking the step that could change everything. It has convinced you that safety is more important than purpose, that comfort is better than calling. But what if God is whispering, "The thing you're afraid of is the very thing I'll use to bless you"? What if He's saying, "Walk anyway, move anyway, believe anyway"? There are moments when fear feels louder than faith, when your mind runs in circles and your chest tightens at just the thought of the unknown. And yet, even in that moment, God is there, not disappointed in your fear, not angry at your shaking, but patient. He knows the human heart, how easily it wavers. He knows the nights you've prayed just to fall asleep without worry. He knows the mornings you've woken up already tired because your thoughts ran all night. And still, He stands with you, whispering, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Fear tells you to run. Faith tells you to breathe. Fear screams that you're not ready. Faith reminds you that readiness was never the requirement, obedience was. You don't have to feel brave to be brave. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward in spite of it. It's saying, "God, I'm scared, but I'll still go." It's the kind of bravery that heaven notices, the kind that takes trembling steps and still chooses trust over panic. You may think fear disqualifies you, but often it's the very soil in which your courage is born. Fear can't stop what God has ordained. It can only delay it if you let it. But every time you choose faith over fear, even in the smallest way, heaven moves. Maybe it's when you make the phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's when you forgive someone who hurt you deeply. Maybe it's when you finally say yes to the thing that terrifies you but won't leave your spirit alone. That's when the shift happens, the moment fear starts to lose its grip and your spirit begins to rise. You've spent enough time letting fear narrate your story. It's time to let faith rewrite the ending. Because fear always predicts disaster, but God always promises redemption. What's ahead of you may feel uncertain, but it's not unknown to Him. Every path, every detour, every closed door, He already sees it. And the same God who brought you through your last storm will bring you through this one too. The same God who met you in yesterday's tears will meet you in today's questions. You've been wondering, what if I fail? But what if you don't? What if this time you fly? What if this fear is the last wall between you and a freedom you've never known? What if this is the moment you finally stop letting fear decide what kind of life you get to live? Because when you start walking in faith, fear doesn't disappear, it just stops leading. It becomes background noise to a louder truth. That you are seen, known, and protected by the one who never leaves. There will still be days when fear comes knocking, but you don't have to answer. You can feel afraid and still move forward. You can shake and still stand tall. You can cry and still walk in purpose. Because faith isn't about feeling strong. It's about knowing who your strength comes from. And that strength, it never runs dry. So breathe. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to trust that the one who holds the future also holds you. Fear loses power when you stop feeding it attention and start feeding your faith. You've carried enough anxiety, enough what ifs, enough sleepless nights. Let peace carry you for a while. Let grace do the heavy lifting. Maybe you're facing something right now that feels bigger than you, a diagnosis, a loss, a step into the unknown. You keep replaying worst-case scenarios in your head. But pause for a second. Notice how even in your panic, you've survived every hard thing before this one. Fear said you wouldn't, but here you are, still standing, still breathing, still believing, even when it hurts. That's not weakness, that's divine resilience. God has never failed to meet you in the middle of fear. He didn't promise you'd never feel afraid. He promised He'd never leave you there. And every time you choose to trust Him in the face of uncertainty, you become a living testimony that fear doesn't win. So right now, let this be your reminder. Fear will always try to speak, but you don't have to listen. You can answer with faith. You can whisper back, I hear you, but I'm moving anyway. You can rise, even if your voice shakes. You can live with peace, even if the storm hasn't passed yet. Because fear might visit, but it doesn't get to stay. Peace is your permanent address now. And maybe one day, when you look back, you'll see that the very thing that scared you most was what grew your faith the deepest. You'll realize fear was never your enemy, it was the stage where courage met grace. And in that moment, you'll smile and know you never faced it alone. You've been fighting quiet battles, trying to hold it together while fear whispers worst-case endings. But listen, this isn't random. This is God stepping into your moment, saying, do not fear, for I am with you. Those words weren't written centuries ago. For someone else, they were meant for you, right now, right here. You see, fear doesn't only come at night. It follows you into the daylight, pretending to be reason, pretending to keep you safe. It's the little voice that says, don't try, don't hope, don't believe again. And for too long you've listened because it sounded like protection. But fear never protected you, it only paused you. Every time you delayed your dream, Every time you swallowed your voice, every time you stayed silent when you wanted to rise, fear smiled because it won another minute of your life. Yet even now, something inside you is stirring. You're tired of living half alive. You want to breathe without waiting for the next disaster. You want to trust that peace isn't temporary. And that desire, that spark, that's heaven's fingerprint. Because God didn't design you for panic. He designed you for purpose. And purpose and fear cannot share the same throne. One has to bow. So breathe. Inhale faith, exhale fear. Let this be the moment where you choose courage, not because you feel brave, but because you finally believe you're not alone. When fear says, "What if you fall?" whisper back, "What if I fly?" When it says you can't handle this, answer, "I never had to handle it alone." Every breath you take in trust weakens fear's hold. Every small act of faith, every yes whispered through trembling lips is rebellion against the darkness that told you to hide. Remember, even the bravest souls once shook. David trembled before he faced Goliath. Moses doubted before he crossed the sea. And yet, each one discovered something you're discovering now. Courage doesn't mean you stop being afraid. It means you move anyway, because love is louder. Fear wants to shrink your world until it's only as big as your comfort zone. But God is calling you beyond that border. He's saying, come further, trust deeper, walk even when you can't see the ground yet. Because miracles don't happen in safety, they happen in surrender. You will never see the ocean part while standing on the shore. You have to step where the water is deep. That's where faith lives. That's where fear drowns. Maybe you've been afraid of loss, afraid of what you can't control. But control is an illusion. Trust is real. And the more you try to control, the tighter fear squeezes. Let go, not in recklessness, but in release. Tell God, I'm scared, but I trust you more than I trust my fear. That sentence alone shifts heaven. Angels lean in when they hear surrender wrapped in faith. There are moments when your heart races and you can't explain why. You wake up anxious. Your thoughts sprint before your feet even touch the ground. You replay scenarios that haven't even happened yet, preparing for pain that might never come. That's what fear does. It rehearses heartbreak before the scene even begins. But you can interrupt it. You can speak peace into that space. Say aloud, I will not fear. God is here. It doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be true. And the truth is, every time you faced what you thought would destroy you, it didn't. You are living proof that fear exaggerates. The breakup didn't end you. The failure didn't define you. The season that broke you actually built you. You've survived everything fear warned you about, and you're still here, stronger, wiser, softer. There will come a day when you'll thank fear for showing you what needed healing, because fear points to where faith wants to grow. Afraid of being alone? That's where God wants to show his companionship. Afraid of not being enough? That's where he wants to show his sufficiency. Afraid of losing what you love? That's where he wants to teach you that nothing truly yours in his will can ever be taken. So instead of running from fear, look at it. Name it. Bring it into the light. Fear loses power in honesty. Say, I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of being forgotten. I'm afraid of starting over. And then hand it to him. Don't wrestle it alone. Surrender it. Because faith doesn't fight fear with fists. It fights with trust. There's something sacred about courage that shakes. Heaven celebrates the person who steps forward with knees trembling but heart willing. God doesn't need your perfection. He just needs your participation. You think you have to feel confident before you act, but confidence grows from action. Take the first step, and confidence will meet you there. Every great story begins with a moment of fear. The disciples feared the storm before they saw the wind obey a voice. Peter feared the waves before he walked on them. Even Jesus, in his humanity, felt the weight of fear in Gethsemane before surrendering to the Father's will. Fear doesn't disqualify you from faith, it's often the doorway into it. The enemy wants you to believe that fear is a sign you're failing, but it's often proof that you're on the edge of something holy. Fear always appears where your faith is about to expand. Don't turn back. Don't give it the final word. Step forward trembling if you must. Heaven applauds motion, not perfection. Look at your life. Count the times you thought you wouldn't make it. Remember the nights you cried quietly, believing no one saw. Yet somehow morning always came. Somehow the light always found you. That's evidence, undeniable evidence, that fear lies but grace delivers. You're going to be okay. Maybe not instantly, maybe not without tears, but okay. Because okay in God's language means safe in His hands, even when it hurts. You might not feel strong right now, but strength isn't a feeling, it's a presence. And that presence is inside you. When fear says you can't, God says, I already made you able. When fear says you'll fall apart, God says, I'll hold you together. When fear says you're alone, God says, I'm closer than your breath. Which voice will you believe? The one that drains you, or the one that built you? Let this be your quiet declaration tonight. I choose faith. I choose peace. I choose trust. Say it again until your heart believes it. Because repetition rewires fear. You can retrain your soul to remember truth more than trauma. There will be setbacks. There will be nights when fear feels louder again. But each time it comes, you'll remember this. You've met it before, and you've survived it before. You'll remember that courage isn't permanent, it's practiced. And every day you practice it, fear shrinks a little more. You don't have to chase fear away. You just have to outgrow it. As your faith grows, fear won't fit anymore. Like old clothes that no longer match who you've become, fear will slip off naturally. One day you'll look back and realize you don't respond the same way anymore. You don't spiral like before. You don't freeze. You breathe. You pray. You stand. That's growth. That's grace. And when others come to you trembling, asking how you learn to stay calm in chaos, you'll smile and say, I stopped fighting alone. You'll tell them about the peace that doesn't make sense, about the nights you talked to God instead of your fears, about the mornings you chose faith before feelings. Your story will comfort theirs. That's how healing multiplies. Fear thought it could isolate you, but God used it to connect you to others, to purpose, to Him. Nothing is wasted, not even what scared you. So tonight, rest. You don't need to have control. You just need to have courage. You don't need all the answers. You just need to keep your heart open. Because the same voice that said, do not fear, for I am with you, still speaks over your life. And every time you listen, darkness loses ground. Tomorrow might still be uncertain, but the one who walks into it with you is unchanging. You are not walking into the unknown, you are walking into His known. Fear only looks big when you forget how infinite He is. Lift your chin, roll back your shoulders, breathe deeper. You are stronger than you feel, safer than you think, and more loved than you can understand. Fear may knock, but faith answers. And when faith answers, peace returns home. So keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting. Because courage isn't born in comfort, it's born in every trembling step that still moves forward. And as long as you're moving with God, you're already winning. There's a quiet bravery that rises in you when you decide to breathe through fear instead of fight it. It's the moment you stop asking, "Why am I still scared?" and start whispering, "God, sit with me in this." Because sometimes the miracle isn't the fear disappearing, it's the peace that arrives while it's still there. You begin to see that fear never had authority. It only had volume. It yelled loud enough to distract you, but it never had power over what God already claimed. So tonight, if fear is still humming in your chest, don't panic. You're not failing at faith. You're human. And being human means you will feel. You will tremble. You will question. You will sometimes imagine the worst before you remember the truth. But even in that swirl of emotion, His presence doesn't waver. It's steady like the heartbeat beneath your hand, constant like the breath you didn't have to remind yourself to take. That's Him, quietly faithful, even when you forget. There will be moments when you'll want to run back to old patterns just to feel safe again. The overthinking, the planning, the pretending that you can control every outcome. But each time you try to take the reins again, peace slips a little further away. Let this be the night you unclench your fists. Let this be the night you say, "I don't have to know what's coming, I just have to know who goes with me." You've been strong for so long, haven't you? Carrying the invisible weight of everyone's expectations, wearing confidence like armor while your soul whispers for rest. God sees that. He's not asking you to perform courage. He's asking you to rest in it. Courage that comes from Him doesn't demand perfection, it invites peace. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the things that scare you lined up before you. Every what if, every memory that still stings, every possibility that keeps you awake. Now, imagine a hand reaching out and gathering them gently. That hand is not yours, it's His. One by one, He's been taking them from you, not because you're weak, but because you were never meant to carry them alone. You can let go now. You can breathe again. Fear is loudest right before breakthrough. It screams when you're standing on the edge of newness, because it knows once you take that step, it loses its claim on you. That's why you've felt the pressure increase lately, the racing thoughts, the doubt, the hesitation. It's not a sign to stop, it's confirmation you're close. When fear rises, it's proof that faith is working. So keep moving, even if it's slow. Keep walking, even if it's through tears. Progress doesn't always feel powerful, it often feels quiet. But heaven notices every step you take in trembling faith. Every single one. Sometimes courage looks like getting out of bed when anxiety says stay down. Sometimes it looks like showing up to the day even when yesterday hurt. And sometimes it looks like sitting still and letting peace rebuild you piece by piece. However it shows up for you today, it's enough. You are enough. You don't have to earn calm. You don't have to deserve rest. It's already yours because you are His. And being His means fear has limits. It can rattle you, but it can't rule you. It can visit, but it can't stay. Because light and darkness can't share the same room, and you, beloved, are light. There's a soft strength inside of you that fear has been trying to hide from you. It's been buried under worry and self-doubt, but it's still there, faith glowing like a small flame in the dark. And the beautiful thing about flames, they don't have to be big to change everything around them. Even a whisper of faith can drive back a wall of fear. That's how powerful hope is. So tonight, instead of praying for fear to vanish, maybe pray for your faith to shine brighter. Because the brighter your faith burns, the smaller fear looks. You've asked, when will I stop being afraid? But maybe the better question is, when will I stop letting fear make my choices? Because courage isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about deciding that fear doesn't get to pick your future. You do. Fear has lied to you long enough. It told you the world will collapse if you step out of line. It told you you'd lose love if you spoke your truth. It told you you'd fail if you tried again. But fear is a terrible prophet. It predicts disaster, not destiny. And your destiny was written by a hand that doesn't tremble. God is not pacing in heaven, worried about your tomorrow. He already holds it. He's not surprised by the things that startled you. He's not shocked by your panic. He understands your heart better than you do. That's why his message is so simple, so steady. Do not fear, for I am with you. Not I might be, not if you behave right, just I am, always present, always near. Let that promise wrap around you like a blanket tonight. Let it steady your heartbeat, quiet your mind, and remind you you are never out of reach. When the morning comes and the sun slips through your window, you'll still have the same unknowns, but you'll meet them differently. You'll carry peace where panic used to live. You'll start noticing how fear doesn't shout as loud when faith starts to speak first. And when you feel it creeping back, remember this: you don't have to start over. You just return. Return to trust. Return to stillness. Return to the truth that's been waiting the whole time God is here. That's enough. That has always been enough. And even when the world outside still feels uncertain, remember, fear is only as loud as your focus. What you fix your eyes on will grow inside you. If you keep looking at the storm, the waves seem endless. But if you lift your gaze just a little higher, you'll see the one who walks above them. He isn't worried. He isn't late. He isn't asking you to be fearless. He's inviting you to be faithful. There's something sacred about staying when fear tells you to run, about breathing when anxiety says hold your breath, about believing when the outcome still looks impossible. Each act of quiet trust becomes a prayer, and those prayers don't disappear into the ceiling. They rise like incense to a God who always answers in perfect timing. So tonight, let your surrender be your strength. Whisper the things you can't fix, name the fears you can't shake, and place them gently in His hands. You might not feel the change instantly, but peace begins the moment you release what was never yours to carry. Fear loves to predict endings, but God writes in continuations. You think it's over, and He says, not yet. You think you've lost, and He says, watch me redeem. Every closed door, every delayed answer, every painful pause, it all becomes a page in a story that ends with grace. And when fear tries to remind you of all the times you failed, reminded of all the times you got back up, you have a track record of surviving. The evidence of God's faithfulness is stitched all through your past. Every time you thought it was the end, it wasn't. That's not coincidence, that's covenant. Courage doesn't roar. Sometimes it's just the whisper, I'll try again tomorrow. Sometimes it's the shaky smile in the mirror that says, I'm still here. And that's enough. You don't need to compare your bravery to anyone else's. You don't have to match their speed, their confidence, their certainty. Your journey with fear is between you and the one who walks you through it. He measures your steps by faith, not by pace. And when you forget, when you slip back into worry, when you start rehearsing old fears again, He doesn't roll His eyes. He just reminds you gently, do not fear, for I am with you. He says it again and again, not because you didn't hear, but because he knows how easily the human heart forgets. If you could see how many angels have been assigned to protect you, how many times grace stepped between you and danger, how often peace intercepted panic before it reached your heart, you'd rest more easily. Heaven has been busier on your behalf than you'll ever know. So even if fear still knocks, it doesn't have authority anymore. It can't dictate your days or decide your dreams. You're learning a new language now, the language of trust. And with every word of faith you speak, the old vocabulary of worry begins to fade. Let tonight be a turning point. Not because fear is gone, but because you've decided it doesn't define you. You can be afraid and still be faithful. You can cry and still be courageous. You can tremble and still take the step. The next time fear tells you to look back, whisper, I'm not going that way anymore. You've already seen what happens when you let fear lead smallness, silence, exhaustion. Now it's time to see what happens when you let faith lead, growth, peace, freedom. And that freedom begins with one choice: to believe that you are safe even when you don't feel safe. Because feelings fluctuate, but truth doesn't. And the truth is, you are held right now, always. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of the unknown, heart pounding, hands cold. Behind you is everything familiar. Ahead of you is everything promised. Fear stands beside you, pointing back, whispering reasons to stay. But faith places a gentle hand on your shoulder and says, look again. You take a breath, and something in you shifts. You realize that fear and faith both ask you to believe in something you can't see. The difference is who you trust. You take the step. It's small, maybe shaky, but heaven calls it holy. Days pass. The storm doesn't end instantly. But you notice how you stand taller now. You still hear fear sometimes, but it's fading into the distance. It doesn't get the first word anymore, and it surely won't get the last. Because the last word belongs to peace. The last word belongs to love. The last word belongs to God. He's rewriting your story even now, turning trembling into testimony, panic into praise, fear into fuel for faith. The same voice that spoke light into darkness is speaking courage into you. And once he speaks, nothing can silence it. So keep this close. Fear may visit, but it doesn't belong here. This heart belongs to peace. This soul belongs to hope. This life belongs to God. And you, yes, you are braver than you think, stronger than you realize, and safer than you feel. Rest now. Let your shoulders soften. Let your mind unclench. Let your spirit remember. You are not in danger. You are in his care. Close your eyes and imagine his words one more time. Do not fear, for I am with you. Let them echo until they become part of your breathing. Let them anchor you when worry waves rise. Let them guide you when the path ahead disappears in fog. When morning comes, you'll wake not fearless, but free. Because freedom isn't the absence of fear, it's the presence of peace stronger than it. So walk into the day slowly, gently, prayerfully. Fear may try to follow, but grace walks faster. And wherever grace goes, fear loses ground. Every sunrise is proof that darkness doesn't last forever. And every heartbeat is proof that God hasn't finished with you yet. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right where you're meant to be, in process, in his plan, in his hands. Take one last deep breath. Feel it fill your chest. That's life, that's grace, that's proof. You're still becoming everything fear said you never could be. And as you exhale, whisper it softly. I am not afraid. I am loved. I am held. Let that be the closing prayer your soul repeats tonight. Because the truth is, fear never stood a chance.